Hi, Dr. Heap. Hi, Dr. Lighthall. We had a fantastic meeting on Wednesday. We discussed a lot of great things. I took the liberty to actually put together a presentation to review this because I know that I threw a lot of terms at you. I threw a lot of information at you that, sometimes it's so new that it goes over people's heads. But I know that you see the tremendous amount of value in dominating Google, in getting to the front of search engines, and getting massive amounts of exposure online to bring in new patients, right? So definitely great stuff going on at the meeting. Let me go through a presentation just to kind of review what we discussed on the Wednesday meeting so that you have a great idea. So you are better able to make your decision on if you want to get started on Google domination. And I know you do, just because you know more than anybody else that online is where you need to be. Okay, because there's no greater opportunity than now to get this started as well, because there's such a changing technology out there, and Google is changing on a daily rate, and a lot of other dentists just aren't with the program. They still feel that they need to do the traditional marketing. They still feel that just even throwing up a website online is going to work for them. It's not these days. So just having specific keywords on your web page is not going to get you ranked higher. You have to know the rich effect of having a web-like, almost like a spider web-like structure when it comes to your marketing online. So that's what we're going to go through. But first, let's talk about, really, why is Google domination a necessity? And I think we've gone over this, you know this better than anybody else, that internet is the new big thing, and that's where people are these days. But let's talk about it. I mean, you know better than anybody, yellow pages don't work. I remember, Dr. Heeb, you said that you will never do yellow pages again. And well, that's good, because I'll be honest, it's not as effective. People don't look there for information, and plus there's so many dentists in there, it's hard to really cut through the clutter and really stand out as a dentist locally. Okay, so yellow pages don't work, and along the lines of that, nobody really pays attention to TV or radio either. Plus, those things are really expensive. I mean, to do commercials, to do infomercials for TV really, really costs a lot. Same thing for radio, and people aren't listening to that anymore. People can watch TV on their internet, people can listen to music on the internet as well. They can go online, download their favorite songs, or get their favorite songs streaming. So why would they ever pay attention to radio? Well, the amount of people doing that these days is less and less and less. Why? Because they get less commercials online for either TV or radio, and they can get it at their fingertips. So that it's very customizable to them because they can search for what they want. Okay, so nobody pays attention to TV and radio. It's not effective marketing in this day and age. Next, direct mail doesn't get too much response either, right? And I'll give you this. Direct mail, when it's targeted, can have really great results. But for the most part, it can be very expensive. I mean, when you're paying for direct mail, you're not only paying for shipping or postage, you're paying for also to print. You're also paying for your leads too. So that just gets really expensive, and the ROI isn't there. Okay? You're lucky if you get a return in the single digits. Usually it's in the fractions sometimes. So unless you have a great offer, and you really have to know what you're doing. Okay, I had a friend, his name's Ira. He was in the car business, and he used to do direct mailers, and he said if you didn't get your copyright, if you didn't get your offer right, if even one thing was messed up, you basically throwing money down the toilet. All right, so you have to be spot on when you're doing direct mail. It can be pretty effective, but I mean the reality is it's much more expensive than other kinds of marketing, which I'm going to go through. Especially TV and radio, like I said, not effective. Yellow pages don't work. So let's get to what is effective, and that's internet, right? And the reason internet is very effective is because that's where people are these days. If they're going to look for anything, such as businesses, people go to Google first to look up businesses, right? They go to look up information. It doesn't matter whether they're looking for lawn care or lawyers or CPAs or dentists. They are looking it up on Google because they can get reviews. They can get a lot of information at their fingertips. Just really easy to access that information. Second of all, and I don't know if you know this, but the baby boomer the population is the fastest growing internet population. Okay, that's huge. So you have to know that. So the number of baby boomers using the internet, they're going to look up businesses on Google as well. So this is becoming more and more popular, not just between for younger folk, but also for baby boomers. Okay, so and I know they are definitely great clients to have. They usually have some problems with their teeth, or they're more willing to pay for these services that you have. So definitely internet is even where you want to go for advertising to baby boomers. Next, and you can find the source right there at the bottom, the most cost-effective marketing. Now here's what I always tell people when it comes to marketing online. There is a residual effect when you're marketing online. Let me just tell you this way. If you pay for a commercial, or if you pay for a TV spot, or if you pay for a spot on the radio, or if you pay for a direct mail piece, once you send it out, it's gone. Which means if people don't see it, or if they don't come back, it's gone. It's not going to do anything else for you. You already printed it off. You already put you paid for the time on the TV or the radio. You don't get that back. On the internet, it's different, because if you post a video, if you post a blog article, if you post a website, it has a residual effect on Google, which means that even like 5 years down the line, somebody will find it. Somebody can find it. Okay, so just know that you posting, it's always going to be on the search engine. It's going to be there. It's a lot of great content. And really, it's the most cost effective. You don't pay just a one-time, huge amount of money for a direct mail piece that you got to print off and pay postage for, and then it's gone. There is a residual effect for internet marketing. So it can be really effective, and it's got that stickiness to it. Okay, so the internet, not only is it where people go to look up businesses, it is also one of the most cost-effective marketing tools that you can use. So let's talk about the internet web effect. How do you get the massive amount of exposure that you need in order to get onto the front of Google? And a lot of people think that they have the secret magic bullet, the silver bullet when it comes to marketing on the internet. The reality is that there's no silver bullet at all. There is, however, there's a secret formula, and you have to know what that formula is. And a lot of people proclaim to know it, but they've never actually done it. Now this has been done, and I've done it before too. You have to know how to create that web effect. So let's go through it. Let me bring up an image. This is your site in the middle, and you have to create a web of social media sites, social networks, podcasts, blogs, video sites, bookmarking sites. You have to create that rich network of information all pointing towards your site in order to get you massive amounts of exposure. Now what that's going to do is not only build relationships with people, that is also going to, in fact, get it so Google recognize you as a valid source, as a valid business. And they're going to, in fact, reward you for that by, making you higher in their search rankings. Okay, so you have to know this. So let's talk about it. Let's say you have we'll just go from the example of having a video. So here's your video. You have a picture of Dr. Evil there requesting $1 million. Now the great thing about this is why I think I put Dr. Evil in there requesting $1 million is really this. Once you know how to market online, you can request whatever you want, which means that you can manifest that $1 million or that $2 million or that $5 million into your practice through just knowing these simple strategies online. Okay? So this is what you really have to do. You have to upload your video to a video site. You have to bookmark it. You also have to throw it up on a blog. You convert it to a podcast so that you can upload it on podcast directories, put it on social network and expose it. Then what you're going to do is make sure that it gets spread all around. You want to sprinkle your seeds everywhere. And you're not going to just do this with one video. Like I said, you're going to create clones of videos and make it your own little clone army of videos going out and sprinkling that information throughout the internet. You're going to do it with hundreds and hundreds of times so that Google really sees the value in what you have and starts giving you massive amounts of exposure online. Now what that'll do is create this effect where your Google ranking, you'll get maximum Google ranking from knowing how to implement these strategies using that deep web around your website of video sites, bookmarking sites, blogs, podcasts, social networks. This is all important and you need to know this. These are not the days anymore of just having a website up, and a lot of people think that that's true. No, that's not what you want to do. That will get you zero exposure. And some people choose to pay for their, results. They do pay-per-click advertising. That is somewhat effective, but not as effective as doing it and building it organically, being the expert in your community. Okay, if you're the expert, people automatically buy your stuff or use your services. So that's what you have to know. Get exposure, be the expert, know this web effect, and tackle it with the mindset that you're going to dominate Google. And you will.